How do archaeologists reconstruct ancient environments from soil? Imagine walking through a site where thousands of years ago people lived, and being able to tell what the landscape looked like back then just by examining the soil. That's what archaeologists do when they try to piece together ancient environments from soil samples. They start with careful excavation methods that keep soil layers intact. This is called preserving soil stratigraphy, which means keeping the layers of soil and sediments in the order they were deposited. These layers act like pages in a history book, showing a timeline of natural events and human activity. Archaeologists then use a technique called soil micromorphology. This involves looking at tiny soil particles under a microscope. By studying how these particles are arranged and what they're made of, they can tell if the soil was altered by humans, like from burning fires or construction, or if it was shaped by natural forces such as floods or wind. This microscopic analysis helps distinguish between natural deposits and those changed by people, giving clues about how the land was used and what the environment was like. Sedimentology is another key method. It involves examining the size, shape, and texture of sediments like sand, silt, or clay. For example, rounded fine sediments often mean water transported them, like in rivers or lakes. Mixed sizes and shapes might suggest glacial activity or windblown dust. By understanding these patterns, archaeologists can reconstruct past environmental conditions, such as whether the area was once a floodplain, a dry desert, or a lush forest. Recovering charred plant remains is also important. Archaeologists use flotation techniques, which involve washing soil samples to separate tiny charcoal pieces and seeds from the dirt. These remains tell us what plants grew nearby and how humans used them. For example, identifying specific tree charcoal can show which types of wood were burned or used for building. Seeds can reveal what crops or wild plants were available and eaten, giving a picture of the local climate and vegetation. Tree ring analysis, called Dendrochronology, adds another layer of detail. By studying the growth rings in ancient wood, archaeologists can determine yearly climate changes, like rainfall or droughts. This helps them understand how climate affected human settlements and agriculture in the past. Chemical testing of soils is also part of the process. It can detect elements like phosphates, which come from human waste or food processing, or organic residues that show where people cooked or stored food. These chemical clues help reconstruct land use and settlement patterns. All these methods work together to create a picture of what the environment was like long ago. By analyzing soil layers, tiny particles, plant remains, and chemical signals, archaeologists can tell stories about past landscapes, climate, and how humans interacted with their surroundings. This approach helps us understand not just where people lived, but how they adapted to and changed their environment over time.